What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Moguls. My name is Findlay-Shirras, and on today's show, we have the president of LionDesk, an integrated CRM platform for sales and business professionals that's really popular in the real estate space. I know a lot of my clients use it as well, and they love it. This guy's also a serial entrepreneur, so if you want to learn how to start, grow, and operate a startup, that's what we're going to be talking about today, so keep watching. All right, now let's get started, and welcome to the show, David Anderson.
Cool, thanks
David.
Grant. Pleasure to be here, man. Beautiful Las Vegas.
Yeah, man. So why don't you kind of walk people through like your story, the different startups you've been, and the story of how you came into LionDesk.
Yeah, so I was in the travel business long time ago as a family travel company, and brought the company online because in '98 I was thinking, I think the internet's probably going to be a big deal, and so started a whole separate company that was basically online travel agency, which eventually became the entire company. And then did that for like 13 years. And then got out of that, took a couple years off. And like you said, I'm more entrepreneurial, so I liked building things. And we built it to a very sizable company. Took a couple years off, helped my sister with a startup on the aviation space, which is doing really well. And then was hanging out with my other sister, who's been a realtor for 15 years, and going to open houses. I actually came to the Inman conference in 2014, just kind of cruised around, asked people what the tools were. I had some extra time, and so just started hacking away at building what is LionDesk. And over the course of the last few years, we've done relatively well, I think.
So when you think about starting these startups and getting them off the ground, and seeing other entrepreneurs not be able to do it, what do you think are some of the things that you've done that helped you be successful?
Finding the right people. That's huge. The staff that we have here, our business development, our marketing team, our operations, and it starts from the top. I mean, your first few hires are going to be the most important, and making sure that they fit not just like the work ethic, right, but the culture that you want to build inside of the company, because that trickles down when you have 3 people, 10, 25, 50, 100, and it really starts from like that core group, and then giving them flexibility to make decisions. I mean, a lot of us are very like, we want to do everything and be involved in everything, and then stepping away actually helps, I think, the company grow a lot more.
Now, for those people, when you're starting out, like, do they just become employees, you put them on salary right away, or is there some like other relationship and way you've started to work with these people and start to see if they were the right people?
Brought them in board, told them, hey, here's the vision of the company, right? And you can give equity. I mean, that's part of the compensation package of doing something like that. And then, if they don't work out, like the first VP of sales that I hired lasted 60 days. And, I knew about 30 days in it wasn't going to work, and kind of took a step back and said maybe that was too soon, and just started growing slowly, really, and not overextending. I think it's what a lot of people do. Like when they have a startup, they're like pedal to the metal, instead of trying to figure out, okay, is this model going to work? Yeah. Did we make a good decision? Great. Let's go this way. Did you make a bad decision? Okay. Who cares? Turn back. And correct it quickly.
When you think about, I have a lot of founders that come to me and say, like, how do you think about equity? Like, how much equity do I give? Do I give them stock options? Do I give them shares? Like what is it? So how have you thought about how to incentivize your people with equity? How did you figure out how much to give them?
Well, it depends. If you raise money, then it's going to be pretty much laid out for you, right? We didn't. And so it was a matter of just paying them well and saying, hey, here's the goals. You can earn equity over the next 3 or 4 years at this percentages, and it's really what you're comfortable with, as an entrepreneur, because if you have the team and they can buy into it, and understand like maybe there's like, something at the end of the rainbow, but maybe there's not, and that's the other aspect of it, right? It's like, maybe, but it's like, maybe not, but let's all go and row in the same direction and see what we can actually build here. And I think that's where the vision comes into place, right? You can give as much equity as you want, but if you're not executing on anything, then who cares?
Yeah. Do you assign it to performance or to like a pay cut they're taking, and like try to create like a valuation? Like how do you calculate it?
You can do that. I didn't. I said I'm going to pay you as much as I think you're worth, but then here's our company goals for this year. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then here's what you can earn out of it, and here's the potential. Everything is going to be tied on like where we are as a company.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's another. You can give bonuses two ways: either cash bonus or, hey, here's an extra point.
Yeah.
Right. And it depends on what the person wants. So we have some people that are like, hey, I'll take less, for more equity, or I'll take. I need the money, so I'd rather take that.
Yeah.
And so you just got to be flexible. I mean, it's not one size fits all, I don't think.
What are some of your favorite recruiting questions to figure out if someone is the right fit?
Actually, I just like hanging out with them, sitting down, having lunches outside of the office. I mean, you can interview somebody, and like interviews are the worst. I tell all my people, like, spend at least 30 minutes, even if you hate them, because first impression's like, great, I'm not going to like this person because they're this or that or this or that, or I love them because, they look really nice. But I always try to, like for our business development guy that I brought on board a couple years ago, we were at trade shows, and I just watched him work and saw what he did, and we became friends, and I was like, why don't you join me, and here's what we're building, and it worked out well for him because he was exiting one company, and so it worked out. But I mean, for that core group, you got to be able to talk to each other on a Saturday afternoon, get into arguments, and there's a lot of those, but then, kind of buy into the, where we're all going, like disagree, but, move forward.
So let's talk about LionDesk, and you said you were at conferences, you started talking to people, and you got this information that made you want to start it.
Yeah.
So what was that information that you got that made you want to start it? There's lots of CRM companies out there.
Yeah.
So talk to me about.
Yeah. So Brad Inman was up on stage, and I was sitting in the very back, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. And he said, there's a lot of great tools, but none of them really talk to each other as much as they should, right? And because I had that other tech background, and we built a whole CRM platform at my last company as well, so it was kind of something I knew, and was like, well, yeah, maybe I could do that. So I started just chatting with people like, hey, if I built this and it did this with some automation, would you pay for it? And then when I got back home, went to broker's office, man, just knocked on doors Saturday afternoon, walking into their office, asking what they were using, looked at, they have Excel, it's color coded, great, like how do you track your notes, and just started asking questions, and literally for a year, developed the product and gave it away for free to as many people who would use it. And I said, it's free, which is basically what it's worth, right? There are bugs, it's not gonna work like you want it to, but give me all the feedback, and use it for as long as you want. And then they started telling friends who started telling friends. But that was really, it's the ground game, just asking people what they want, because as a developer, you can go in and what you want, but if the person isn't actually going to use it, then who cares, right?
What was the original feature set, and how has it evolved over time?
Yeah, so it wasn't even going to be real estate. It was just going to be small business CRM originally. And that's where I think we had a really good advantage, because I had that mindset of always being agnostic, right? Depending on which industry you're in. Obviously, we focused on real estate. But the biggest problem that my sister had, and most agents have, is just following up with their past clients. Like NAR, 90% of clients say they want to use you, but only like 12 or 13% actually do. Then you got Zillow out there, going after all of your past clients that you sold homes to. And so the core functionality is, automating that nurturing process and then aggregating all the data. And we've expanded. I mean, we're launching a couple new products outside of the CRM portion of it as well. As we learn and talk to different clients, we started off just individual, and now we're kind of like enterprise, going after the enterprise companies as well.
What are those other products?
Transaction management, but it's really
we're getting into that.
It's not a full
like a lone wolf.
No, not when. So we're actually going to do it a little bit differently.
I'm sure some people might appreciate.
Yeah. So we have a lot of partners that actually integrate on the transaction side to us. The reason that we're bringing in the data set is not to be a TM platform. It's to tie the money that you're spending as a broker and agent on those leads all the way through the transaction, so you can actually see what you're making, and we can tie that marketing in. Where, what reason would a website have to connect to a TM system? Like zero, right? But because we know where that lead comes from, and we know how many times they visited your site, we're able to tell you, hey, your marketing is working, and this is the half that is working, because we're bringing the data in. So we're just aggregating it.
Yeah.
And it's industry agnostic. So lending, insurance, so a lot of people, you can basically customize this thing. If you're a broker, you can set up for recruiting and track all this stuff. We use it. We use our own product in-house.
Really?
Yeah, to track all of our deals.
Good for you. That's cool. Have you guys raised money?
Nope.
Nice. So how do you bootstrap a business?
Suffer. Literally. I was lucky because I had that other company. So I had a little bit of a base that started with. Find people who are willing to put the time in and not get paid, initially. And I was able to develop a lot of it myself with one other guy. And I said, hey, if we end up raising money, I'll give you this. We ended up not raising any money. And so I just slowly paid him off. But it's hustle, man. Like, I remember the first $25 sale I got, and I was, having lunch, and I was just excited. Then I remember my first annual subscription. It's just, you got to do everything, right? I mean, if you start offloading stuff to other people, you're going to go on the red really quick, right? And then it's just, then you have no choice. You have to go raise money.
How long did you not get paid for?
I didn't pay myself for probably a year and a half. Yeah. Roughly, almost 2 years.
That's similar for me.
Yeah, I mean, do what you got to do.
How big is the company now? How many customers do you serve? What geographic regions? How many realtors versus other industries?
All over the U.S., Canada, South America. We got clients over in Europe on the international side. There's probably 35,000 users.
Awesome.
And most of them are agent broker, right? But over the last 60, 90 days, we've been doing a lot more lending on the lending side, mortgage, loan officers. And then we just have like random food truck businesses, as well.
What was that like going into lending in a different industry? Was it really not that much? Because some companies think about that, thinking about going wider, not just with one industry. And some people are like, well, vertical software is doing more, is better and in more demand. Why did you make the decision to want to go into other industries? And what did you have to think about with your business? Is this has to also, it's not just selling to new people.
Right.
You have to change all these other things as well. Or add.
Yeah, I think that's why we actually had a pretty good base, because it was based off of the agnostic, platform of follow-up is follow-up. The decision to go into lending was really caused because we had a lot of lenders signing up for our CRM and then started over from ground zero again, right? Like, let me talk to these guys, let me go into their offices, let me see what they want. We went up to like Loan Depot, talked to them, visited the Rocket Mortgage people, right, just to see what they were doing with their systems. And it's really, for me, it was the consumer experience is always in the back of my mind or the front of my mind, where, you get a lead and it goes to the agent, and then it goes to the lender, and then you got the title, and then you got the insurance, and it's like, how can we put this thing together to where it's unified between all of these different stages? And so we always knew we were going to go into the lending side. And we're just starting, man. Going to a conference in a couple months, and but we probably get at this point maybe 20 to 25% of our signups are on the lending side.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you see like for the future? Like, is it how many other industries do you think, and like what do you want LionDesk to become?
Keep growing. Yeah, I mean, keep growing. There's only so many agents in the world, right? And so I don't like limiting factors. Right? So what can we do next? So it's like, real estate is a huge portion of it. Automotive, we've got a lot of dealers using us.
Do you think customers might be like, oh, you're not a real estate CRM, so you're just not as good? Or do you think you're now past them ever thinking that?
I think we're still a real estate CRM for now. But as we launch the new platform, it's, we have a drop down now. It's like, what industry are you in? And what are you in that industry? And so we pre-build everything just like we did in the past for the agent, the broker, right? I mean, the broker's only job is to recruit, train, and retain, right? And so we're putting the funnels together on the brokerage side to do that. And then they want visibility on their agents, right? And then the same thing on the lending side. They follow up on leads, and then they have to pass them off. So it's a lot more work, that's for sure, to think of everything. But I think we're poised for some pretty good success there.
35 customers is a lot of customers. Like, how have you got your customers? Like, what are your processes to getting more people? Like, do you work with the big brokerages and go down, or do you sell one-to-one? Like,
So we started off, it just, like I said, knocking on doors, and then they told people who told people. And then we started going to teams, and built the functionality for the team. And then we started talking to brokers. And we do MLS deals also. So we just launched San Diego MLS. So all 14,000 agents in San Diego get LionDesk for free at this point, like a base package.
Wow.
Right? CRMLS. So we have most of California on the MLS side where people can log into their MLS and click the LionDesk button. And so for us, it's not just one avenue. We have resellers, we have partners. We have our own in-house sales staff. We have outside sales staff. And so it's just, you keep trying these different things, like what's the lowest hanging fruit. And then obviously selling 1,000-person brokerage is different than selling an individual agent, right?
Yeah.
So it's a longer,
Do you have a big
cycle.
sales team, or just
No. In-house, maybe there's like 15 or 20 people on the in-house side. And then outside sales, we have just 2 guys on the enterprise and MLS side that are making deals, and then myself. Could we have more? Sure. More business development, more meetings and stuff, absolutely. But we're just kind of foraying, walking in here, and just like I did in the past, it's like, let's figure it out. If it works, then okay, double down.
What partnerships have you made over time?
On the reseller side, or?
Yeah, like resellers or people you partnered with that are in different spaces of real estate tech.
A lot of the front-end website companies. We want to be that integrated system, right? So we don't want to do everything, and I think that's something that our partners want to hear, right? Because I mentioned transaction management, but we're partners with Brokerment and SkySlope and .loop, and we say no, we're just this one little hub that makes it easy for the broker to see everything, and we're not going to, are we going to dip our toes in these other areas? Sure, because we have to. Yeah, we started with the front end, and now we're working on the TM side, and then we have a lot of just small integrated partners that plug into us that sell our products with theirs.
What do you think about the CRM space? Because there's so many CRMs.
Yes.
Like, why do people keep wanting to build them?
I don't know. I don't even know why I wanted to build it. Right? I don't know. I think. When I got in it, top producer, right? I mean, I think they still have the most number of users, right? Maybe 60,000 or something. And then you've got a lot of enterprise stuff on the broker side, but they're really focused on reporting tools for the broker. And then you've got the website plus CRM guys, but they're not really CRM. It's like a database management system. And so for us, there's a handful. I mean, you probably less than 5 that we would compete with, either on the individual agent side, which are 2 over here, and then on the enterprise side, there's 1 or 2 other guys.
And how do agents go you versus the other people?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think it's feature set, right? I mean, it's value, as if with everything else. What kind of value am I going to get for the price that I'm getting? What's the response? What's our support team like? Innovation, right? So I started the company in 2014, 15, right? And 2 years ago, I made the decision to rebuild everything from the ground up. And so, pretty much all of our other competitors have been using the same thing for the last several years, if not more. And so for me, it's this is good. We're doing really well, but I want to take it to the next level. And so let's invest a lot more money. Let's get more people and rebuild the thing, which was just insane because we were basically had to rebuild a CRM,
So I have done a project rebuild myself 2 years ago. For all the startups out there, why did you do it, and what was that project like?
Oh, it was insane.
Time and money, and why did you do it in the first place?
There was no way on the current platform that I could have 100,000 people on a daily basis using it, just the way it was structured, right? And when I started the company, I never thought I'd get there, but based on where we're going, we will. So that was the first one, just need, necessity. The project itself took much longer. and cost a lot more, obviously. Gotta have patience for all this stuff, and one of the things I learned that I probably wouldn't do again is announce what we were doing before we were closer to the finish line, right? Because we had a lot of clients who were like, where is it? Where's V2? Where's V2? Where's V2? And I was like, it's coming. But then it was like, just took longer. And then we launched V2 in like beta a month-ish ago. And we're like, hey, try it out. It's not done, but this is where we're going. And the people that were complaining, were like, hey, you need to have this feature. They're like, oh no, we love V1 now. Like, we have to wait for V2 to get better, which is perfect. So it's doing great now. And we have, a ton of developers at this point. Well, I think it's a ton. I mean, 20, right, for us.
Oh, wow.
And they're just hammering on it and just making it better and better every day.
Because ours took like 6, they predicted 4 months, came out to like 6, 7 months.
Yeah.
And then testing and beta testing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like full time, I was like, developers are not working on anything else because
it
was preventing us from moving forward.
Yeah, it was a 2-year process, man, for us. I spent probably 8 to 10 times more on version 2 than I did on version 1. Right?
That's crazy.
But now it's like enterprise class. I mean, it's really solid, and it will allow us. I mean, that's the vision.
Yeah.
It will allow us to grow into all these other markets. We're launching a marketplace. Where a bunch of other companies. We already had about 120 companies that have plugged into our APIs, and
cool.
So the idea is like you're a salesperson and you want to know what other tools are out there, or you're a broker and you want to know what other tools are out there, and you can go to the marketplace and see, okay, cool, plug, and just have it all integrated.
What are some of the challenges with building CRM companies that you didn't expect? Yeah.
Well, I love real estate agents, but they can be very finicky. Right?
Yep.
But I would say that growing the team. I grew a team before. I mean, we had a pretty sizable team in my last company, so I felt pretty good about where we were going on that. But building any technology, it's time and money, man. I mean, that's the biggest challenge.
What cost more time and money than you thought? What are some of the things that have cost more time and money?
The development. I mean, that was it. If we didn't develop V2, then we'd be, extremely profitable. Probably put more money into the marketing aspect of it. But I mean, that's like you said, it just takes longer and costs more than you can ever budget, right? No matter what.
With all the new tech coming out, AI is becoming better and better, machine learning, and I feel like CRMs are going to start using some of that stuff more automation. When you see the future of what a CRM can do for an agent, what are some of the things that you see?
Yeah, AI is huge. So we have AI integrated into our platform right now called Lead Assist. So a new lead comes in, it'll text the client back. It's amazing. And the conversion rates on that are just skyrocketed because nobody can be available all the time. But the problem with traditional CRM is that you're always looking like what happened with that deal. So you're kind of looking in the rearview mirror, right? Instead of what should I be doing next. And I think we're bringing on like a BI data science person to get into the machine learning, right? Because we're, with our client base, millions of conversations, text messages, emails. I want to get to the point where we can say, hey, you haven't touched this client. They just logged in your website and they looked at 3 properties, and the last email said 6 months ago, but you don't have a task. And so I want to automate all that stuff for them by just looking at the data, which is why we're trying to tie this all together. And so it's not just, lead to nurture to close. It's like post-close, and we're bringing in partners to do all that stuff, like the home services stuff. And CRM itself is probably it will change dramatically in the next few years because of all, like Google Personal Assistant, right? I mean, there's wild stuff that's going on, and as a small company, we're not gonna be able to get too far ahead, like bleeding edge, but we want to be leading edge and kind of just right there, which is another reason why we partner with companies, because I can't develop everything, right? I mean, nobody can, right?
So we got a big audience out there listening. What are some of the partnerships you want to have? What are some of the companies that you still want to work more with that maybe they can reach out?
We love the individual agent. We love brokers. Like I said, we're doing a lot of MLS deals across the country, and then on the enterprise side, our broker / franchise proposition is pretty impressive at this point, I think. But we'll take anything, man.
Cool. How can people get in touch with you if they want to reach out?
David@LionDesk.com is my email, or just go to LionDesk.com. We have a Facebook group as well. There's about 15,000 people in our Facebook group at this point, so you can log in, and we're an open book. But other than that, LionDesk.com, man.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
As always, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube show or the podcast, click that red button, the bell icon, or whatever podcast listening platform you're on, so you can stay up to date and meet more people in this space, because everyone needs a CRM. You need to understand what these companies do, and likely you probably want to partner and integrate with them if you're not a competitor. And if you are, the fact that he's able to bootstrap a business to 35,000 people, that makes him a good entrepreneur. It's really tough to do that. I know that firsthand. It's really tough to do that, so congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Cool. All right, see you soon.